The 2015 MLB Draft was crazy. The number 1 overall pick was traded less than a year after being selected. A single team had 2 picks in the top 5, and they possibly got 2 of the best players in this entire draft, setting them up for a decade-long dynasty. There were busts, there were steals, and everything in between. I'm going to go through the entire first round and classify each pick as bad, solid, good, or in the rare case of an elite pick. There are interesting picks throughout the entire first round from 1 to 42, including the last one, and there are some big sleepers after in the remaining 39 rounds, so make sure you stay around for all of them. Without further ado, let's get it started with the first overall pick. The 2014 Diamondbacks were rewarded with the number 1 pick after winning just 64 games in 2014. Since there was no draft lottery like today, the worst team was guaranteed the first selection. And with that selection, they took the top college player according to MLB.com, Dansby Swanson, a shortstop out of Vanderbilt. As you may know, Swanson never played an inning for the Diamondbacks as he was sent to the Braves in a package for Shelby Miller after the 2015 season. Miller was coming off a career year with a 3.02 ERA and a 3.45 FIP in 205 innings in 2015. He would never repeat this production for the Snakes though, as in his 3 years there, he posted a 6.15 ERA. This trade is obviously one that the Diamondbacks would like to forget, as Dansby Swanson turned out to be a pretty good player, while Shelby Miller was awful. Swanson has already eclipsed 1,000 hits for his career, while also being one of the best defensive shortstops in the game. So far, he's been worth 23.4 BWAR, making him a good pick for this draft, but not the best one. The number 2 overall pick belonged to the Houston Astros, although they weren't the second worst team in the league last season. This was a compensation pick for not signing Brady Aiken first overall in 2014. With this pick, they selected Alex Bregman, a shortstop out of LSU. I think we all know that the decision to not sign Brady Aiken and getting an extra pick in 2015 to get Bregman was a franchise-changing move. He was one of the best players on 2 World Series winning teams. Bregman has been a great hitter as well as a solid defender. He has a career WRC plus of 135, meaning he is 35% better than the league average, while also posting near 40 WAR. This puts him in the elite category and well above the first overall pick in Dansby Swanson. The Colorado Rockies picked the top high schooler on the board, shortstop Brendan Rodgers. Rodgers has not found the same success as Bregman or Swanson. His defense was not good enough for shortstop, and he never developed into the hitter that he was supposed to be. He was on the top prospects list for years, but so far he's been a well below average hitter with an 86 WRC plus and has only accrued 5.9 WAR early in his career. This makes him the first pick of the draft, and trust me, he won't be the last. The 4th overall pick belonged to the Texas Rangers, and they used it to select Dylan Tate, a right-handed pitcher out of UC Santa Barbara. Although he never got the chance to pitch with the Rangers as he was sent off to the Yankees in exchange for half a year of Carlos Beltran at the 2016 trade deadline. 2 years later, he was traded again to the Orioles, this time for Zach Britton. He struggled with injuries throughout the minors, but eventually made his debut as a reliever for the Orioles. His career has only been worth 1.9 WAR, and this is the draft's first of many bad picks. The 5th pick was also held by the Houston Astros, and this time they selected Kyle Tucker, a high school outfielder. Tucker took some time in the majors to settle in and was not an instant star like Bregman was, but it was well worth the wait. Tucker is now one of the best players in the league. He has a career WRC plus of 139, the highest of this draft class, and is a 3-time All-Star to go along with a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger. The Astros traded Tucker this offseason to the Cubs, but they got a lot out of this pick, including a big part of the 2022 World Series winning team. He has a career WAR of 23, which puts him right into the good category alongside Swanson, but he has the potential to be the best player from this class when it's all said and done, as he's 3 years younger than his former teammate Alex Bregman. I think it's safe to say that the Astros are the clear winners of this draft so far. The 6th pick of the draft was Illinois left-hander Tyler J, selected by the Twins. He would put up okay numbers in the minors, but began having health problems in 2019. After a few years, he was diagnosed with eosinophilic esophagitis, let me know if I pronounced that right, an allergic inflammatory condition that makes eating very difficult, which for a professional athlete is not ideal. Because of this, his on-field performance suffered and was eventually out of minor league baseball, but in 2023, he worked his way back to an MLB organization in the Mets, and in 2024, made his major league debut, although it would not last long. He was traded to the Brewers, pitched a couple of outings there, and then he was DFA'd in the offseason. His career so far is worth just .1 WAR, a bad pick by the Minnesota Twins. The 7th pick was held by the Red Sox, and they used it to select college outfielder Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi raced up the prospect charts, being named one of the best minor league prospects in the league after dominating the lower minors. He was called to the majors straight from AA, and he was a solid player for the Red Sox, but never lived up to what he showed when he was first drafted. He has a career average of .270, on base of .340, and a slugging percentage of .415, with a WRC plus of 104. Recently, he's not been that great, posting negative .8 WAR in 2024 for the historically bad White Sox, but he goes down as the draft's first solid pick nonetheless. The White Sox picked right-hander Carson Fulmer with the 8th pick. He pitched very well in the minors, but could never put it all together in the majors. In 227 career innings, he's posted an ERA and FIP above 5 with a career WAR of negative .2. The White Sox DFA'd him in 2020, making him a bad first-round pick. The 9th pick belonged to the Cubs, and they selected college outfielder Ian Happ. Happ would get the call to the majors in 2017 and was okay for his first 4 years, but the past 3 years, he's been quietly one of the more valuable players in the league. He's not going to light it up in any aspect of the game, but he'll play good defense, take his walks, make consistent contact, and play 150 games every year. So far, he's put up an average of .252, on base of .321, a slug of .413, and he's accrued 17.7 WAR, which makes him a very solid pick for the Cubs. The 10th pick was Cornelius Randolph, a high school shortstop selected by the Philadelphia Phillies. Cornelius Randolph may not be a name that you've ever heard of, but at the time, he was a prospect who might have had the highest ceiling as a hitter in the class. He would never reach that ceiling though, as his OPS hovered around 700 in the minors, and in 2021, he elected free agency after 6 years in the minors. He bounced around a little and currently plays in the Mexican League. Since he never made the majors, we can represent him with a gray dot. Technically, he had 0 WAR, but it's still a bad pick by the Phillies, possibly the worst in the entire draft. The Cincinnati Reds held the 11th pick, and they selected catcher Tyler Stevenson out of high school. Stevenson has had an up-and-down career in the majors, but he's coming off his best year of his career in 2024 when he put up 2.4 WAR. Overall, he's been worth 6.9 WAR over his career, while being above average on offense and a below average defender. So far, this is an pick for the Reds, but it could improve if Stevenson continues to grow on his 2024 season. The 12th pick in the draft was held by the Miami Marlins, and they selected first baseman Josh Naylor out of high school. Naylor was traded to the Padres in a deal involving Luis Castillo and Andrew Cashner. He debuted for the Padres, but was traded to the Guardians in a package for Mike Clevenger and Greg Allen. The power potential finally broke through in Cleveland, as he's hit 68 home runs in the past 3 seasons. He's been a solid hitter in his career with a WRC plus of 112. With a career WAR of 6, he's currently an pick, but he's only 27 years old, so that can improve, similar to the prior pick in Tyler Stevenson. The 13th pick was Garrett Whitley by the Tampa Bay Rays, an athletic outfielder that projected to be an above-average hitter. This projection would never come to fruition though, as he was never able to hit in the high minor levels, as his OPS was just .638 in AAA. Thus, he never got the call to the majors. He bounced around the league a little before being released by the Phillies in 2023 and currently remains a free agent. The 14th pick in the draft belonged to the Braves, and they picked high school lefty Colby Allard. Allard shot through the minor league system and made his debut by the age of 20 for the Braves in 2018. He didn't show much in the 3 games he played that year, and the Braves decided to jump ship and trade him to the Rangers for reliever Chris Martin. Allard never lived up to the first-round potential, as he had a career 6 ERA through 272 innings and a WAR of negative 1.3, a bad pick. With the 15th pick, the Brewers selected Trent Grisham, a high school outfielder. Grisham made his MLB debut with the Brewers, but was traded to the Padres for Eric Lauer and Luis Urias, and then traded to the Yankees in the Juan Soto trade. Grisham has been one of the best defensive outfielders in the league since his debut, winning 2 Gold Gloves already. He has shown flashes offensively, but overall he's been a below-average hitter. His defensive value makes him a solid pick though. The Yankees used the 16th pick to take James Caprillion, a right-handed pitcher out of UCLA. He was traded less than 2 years later to the Athletics in a package for Sonny Gray. He made his debut for the A's in 2020 but never carved out a role in the majors. With a mid-4s FIP and a mid-4s ERA and a career WAR of 2.2, it is another bad pick for the 2015 draft. Pick 17 was the aforementioned Brady Aiken, who failed to sign with the Astros in 2014. This time, the Guardians selected him, but he never put it together. He struggled in the minors and did not pitch in 2018, returned for 2 games in 2019 before stepping away for the remainder of the season. He was released in 2021 and has not played since, a pretty bad pick for the Guardians. Pick 18 was Phil Bickford by the Giants. 1 year later, he was traded to the Brewers for reliever Will Smith. He made his debut for the Brewers out of the bullpen and showed some promise. He was claimed off of waivers by the Dodgers and put up a 2.5 ERA in 50 innings in 2021. However, that would be the last successful season that we've seen from Bickford, as he's not been great since. His career numbers look pretty low for a first-round pick, and that makes him the next bad pick in this draft. With pick 19, the Pirates selected Arizona shortstop Kevin Newman. Newman's bat never developed, but has been a solid defender at shortstop in his major league career. He was traded to the Reds for reliever Dowie Moreta and had a decent season for the Diamondbacks in 2024. Overall, he's been an pick, as his defense at a premium position gives him some decent value. With pick 20, the Oakland A's picked Richie Martin. Martin found his way to the majors via the Rule 5 draft when the Baltimore Orioles selected him in 2019. He did not fare well at all in the majors, posting a career -2 B-WAR and is currently playing independent ball, another pick that never worked out. Pick 21 was held by the Kansas City Royals, and they picked high school pitcher Ash Russell. Russell played rookie ball in 2015 and 16, but took a break from baseball after the 2016 season due to both physical and mental health issues. He did not return until 2021 when he returned to rookie ball. However, it did not last long, as he only pitched 4 innings, giving up 7 runs and walking 8 batters. He's not played professionally since then, making this, you guessed it, another bad pick. The next 2 picks had very similar outcomes to each other, with the Tigers taking pitcher Beau Burrows and the Cardinals taking outfielder Nick Plummer. Both of them played briefly in the majors. Burrows put up a career WAR of -0.7 in 17 innings, and Plummer -0.1 WAR, recording just 4 hits for the Mets in a brief 14-game stint in 2022. 2 more bad picks, but that will change with the next one. Of course, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers who break this streak, taking Vanderbilt righty Walker Buehler with the 24th overall selection. Buehler may turn into one of the biggest what-if stories in MLB, as before his Tommy John surgery, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball, with 2 seasons finishing top 10 in Cy Young voting. After returning from his injury in 2024, it did not go as well for Buehler, as he posted a 5.38 ERA and 5.5 FIP in 75 innings. His overall career numbers look solid though, with a 3.27 ERA over 713 innings and a FIP of 3.5 is nothing to complain about. His career 12.2 WAR puts him firmly in the solid tier in this draft, and we finally see some sort of success come out of a pick here. With the 25th pick, the Baltimore Orioles selected DJ Stewart. He spent time with the Orioles and Mets in the majors, but never broke through, as he was worth just 0.1 WAR, making this another bad pick. Ending off the main portion of the first round, the Angels selected catcher Taylor Ward with the 26th pick. The Angels decided that his defense was not suited for catcher and began playing him at third base before ultimately finding his home in corner outfield. He's been a pretty solid offensive player so far, with a WRC plus of 115. Overall though, he's been an pick with 7.1 WAR in his career at this point. 4 teams forfeited their first rounder due to signing free agents with qualifying offers attached to them, so the main portion of the first round was only 26 picks long. The next 16 picks are still part of the first round, but they're the compensatory picks and competitive balance picks. To save time and make this video more interesting, I'll go through the 5 notable ones. First off, at pick 28, the Braves picked Mike Soroka, a right-handed pitcher out of high school. Soroka looked like a home run pick throughout the minors and into the start of his major league career, but in 2020, he tore his Achilles while pitching. During his recovery in 2021, he re-tore his Achilles walking back to the clubhouse. This forced him to miss all of 2022. Due to these Achilles tears, he missed most of the 2020 season, all of 2021, and all of 2022. He finally retook the mound in 2023, over 1,000 days after he last pitched, but it was obvious that he was not the same. He had a 6.4 ERA in a small sample in 2023, and in 2024, he did not look much better, unfortunately. It once looked like one of the best picks in the draft, but currently, it stands as eh. At pick 32, the Pirates picked Ke'Bryan Hayes out of high school. Hayes has struggled with back issues his entire major league career, but when he's healthy, he's one of the best defenders in the league. That's how you can be worth 13.4 WAR while having a WRC plus of just 89. He put up back-to-back 4 WAR seasons in 2022 and 2023, but injuries held him back in 2024. Still a solid pick for the Pirates. The Orioles had the 36th pick, and they used it to select Ryan Mountcastle. Mountcastle has been a productive hitter in the major leagues, posting a 112 WRC plus so far. His 2024 season was the best of his career, so this pick could end up being a solid one as he continues to produce, but for now, it is in the category. At pick 41, the Braves come in again and select Austin Riley, a third baseman out of high school. Now, Riley is arguably a top 3 player from this entire draft. In 2021, 2022, and 2023, he averaged 6 WAR per season, which is very, very good. Although 2024 was a big step back in production, this pick is obviously still a very good one and a reason why the Braves have a World Series in 2021. And the last pick in the first round belonged to the Guardians, where they picked high school righty Triston McKenzie. At 24 years old in 2022, McKenzie posted a 4 WAR sub-3 ERA season, living up to his first-round potential. But injuries and inconsistencies would haunt him in the next 2 seasons. 2024 was particularly bad, as he was worth negative 0.6 WAR. We know that the talent is in him somewhere. It's just a question if we will ever see it again. For now, his 5 WAR makes it an pick to end the first round. Of course, there's more than just one round in the draft, so let's zoom out and see if anyone else stands out amongst the over 1,200 players selected. Yes, 1,200. Thankfully, MLB drafts are now only 20 rounds long, so for future videos like this, we can go a little more in depth. Looking at the entire draft, we can see a handful of outliers here in the remaining rounds, so let's see who these guys are. Up first is Brandon Lowe, drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays with the 87th pick. Lowe posted a career WAR of 16, making him a solid pick for the Rays, especially for a pick in the 3rd round. The next one is Harrison Bader, who the Cardinals took in the 4th round. Bader has been a great defensive center fielder and because of it has been worth 13 WAR in his career, a very good find for the Cardinals at the 100th pick. The next one is another Cardinal pick, and that was Paul DeJong, putting up 13.6 WAR as the 131st overall pick. Then at the 195th overall selection, the Angels selected David Fletcher, who had a few good years early in his major league career, to give him 10.5 WAR. 13 picks later was Jake Cronenworth to the Rays in the 7th round, posting a career WAR of 13.3. All of that would come with the Padres though, as the Rays traded Cronenworth in exchange for Hunter Renfroe in 2019. Then we have to go all the way to the 13th round to get the next solid pick, and that is Cedric Mullins, who was picked by the Orioles with the 403rd overall pick. Mullins has accrued 15 WAR in his career so far, good for the 8th most valuable player of this class, and the Orioles found him in the 13th round. That is some pretty good value. That does it for the rest of the solid picks, but obviously you can see 2 more dots sticking out towards the right side. Although they are labeled as picks, these are some really rare finds in the later part of the draft. The first one of those being Jeffrey Springs at the 888th overall pick by the Rays. When healthy, Springs has been a productive pitcher, but he underwent Tommy John surgery early in 2023 and missed all of the 2023 season and most of 2024. Still though, he's put up over 6 WAR during his time in the majors. And lastly, with the 1,017th pick, the Padres selected Ty France in the 34th round. France was traded to the Mariners in 2020 along with Andres Munoz for Austin Nola and Austin Adams. France had a few good seasons at the plate with the Mariners, but that seems like a thing of the past, as in 2024 he was worth negative 0.6 WAR. Overall in his career, he's been worth 8.2 WAR, the 16th most valuable player in this draft, selected with pick 1017. And that is the 2015 MLB Draft, a draft that set up the Astros to dominate the league for the next decade, a draft where the number one pick was traded less than a year after he was picked in one of the most disastrous trades of all time. And with all of these misses, it just goes to show you how hard it is to hit on good players even with high first-round picks. Sometimes it's what separates a team from being a World Series winner and a team that will be drafting high for years to come. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.